Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a very beautiful day here in good old Texas. It's gonna be a great day to mow, but today we are not mowing, at least not this morning. That's because, well, the rain won't stop, and it's a little too wet to mow this morning. That means we get a day off, right? Wrong. We do not get a day off, especially if we own a business that uses equipment to make money. Today, we're gonna do the most important thing you can do for your business, and that is to take care of your equipment. So we're gonna pull the mower off right here and do some maintenance. That's right. Today, it's time to do our 100-hour maintenance on the most important piece of equipment in our trailer, our Skag commercial zero-turn mower. But first, we need supplies. Today, we are doing our 100-hour service on our mower, which involves an oil change, a new oil filter, a new fuel filter, new spark plugs, and new air filters. And we're gonna do it on our Skag Tiger Cat 2 with a 36 horsepower Briggs and Stratton motor. Now, I know your machine may be different, and if you need to know the exact steps for your model and frequency, check the user manual. Usually the user manual for a machine like this comes with one from Skag and one from Briggs and Stratton. Skag will have a generic frequency for service intervals on the whole machine, and the Briggs and Stratton one will have just the motor. And usually the motor and Skag agree on the frequency of oil changes. For us, it's every 100 hours. Some people will say you do it a little sooner if you're in very dry, dusty conditions. We try to shoot around 90 to 100 hours to change the oil. We try not to go over the 100-hour mark. Right now, we're 3 hours short. We're gonna start with changing the oil in the motor. And the first step is to let the motor run just a little bit to make the oil a little hot so that it flows out really easy. And most mowers have a drain plug somewhere on the motor to get the oil out. For me, with the Skag, we have a remote drain plug that makes it very easy to get the oil out without making a huge mess. Man, that is some very dark oil. I also find that it helps drain the oil a little easier if you open the oil fill cap while it's doing this. Now that that's done draining, let's go ahead and put our cap back on our drain tube. And now it's time to take care of the engine oil filter. And I like to start with an oil filter wrench because it is a little snug, and then I spin it off by hand. And this is the messiest part of this job because they put the oil filter on the side of the motor, so there's no way to get it off without making a little bit of a mess. Once you have the oil filter off, go ahead and throw it to the side. Grab the new oil filter and be sure to take some of your used oil and lubricate the O-ring on the new oil filter, and then put it back on and spin it on by hand. Once it's tight, take the oil filter wrench, and I like to give it just a little kiss, about an 1/8 to a 1/4 inch turn to make sure it's good and tight. Be sure you clean up the mess you made when you took it off, and now it's time to start putting oil in the machine. And I use a funnel back here on the back, and I like to pour oil in, checking the oil dipstick to make sure I'm at the proper level. Once I'm at the proper level, I like to start the motor and let it run for a second, and then I like to re-verify that the oil level is correct. That is it. That's all there is to changing the oil in your commercial zero-turn mower. It's actually very, very easy. Now that the oil's done, it's time to move our attention to the fuel system, and we're gonna change the fuel filter on our mower. Now, if you don't know when it's time to change the fuel filter, there's some telltale signs. Like, say your mower is running just fine, and then all of a sudden it starts acting like it's having a hard time running. It starts backfiring and popping, or you have to start putting the choke on to keep it running. More than likely, if it happened out of nowhere, change your fuel filter. that can be a big cause as to why your motor starts to run terribly. Now, we never really get to that point because we change our fuel filter every 100 hours, and it's actually a very easy job. Can be a little messy, so work fast, but it's very simple. You just pull back these clips right here. You get the new filter in hand, you pull off the old filter as quickly as possible and replace the new filter in line. Be sure to work fast because it will be leaking some fuel while you're doing it, and then simply put the clips back in place. All right, now that the fuel filter is done, next up is right next to it. It's our spark plugs, and our motor has two. Most commercial mowers actually have two, but I feel like the fuel filter and the spark plug are very cheap replacements when it comes to maintenance of your mower. Like, these are so inexpensive, you can't afford not to do them. And I prefer to do them at every time I change the oil in this motor. And it's actually very easy. You just pull off the spark plug boot, take your spark plug wrench and loosen the spark plug, remove the spark plug. That's actually not terrible. It is very black and got a lot of carbon on it, but it's actually not that bad. There is a new one for reference. Much cleaner, much nicer. Will make the motor run much better. Put the new spark plug in, tighten it back down, and replace your spark plug boot. And when you're done, just repeat it for the other side. And now that we are done with the spark plugs, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to change the air filters on our motor. And this one actually has two. It has an inner and an outer, and normally you only replace the outer, but I like to change both the inner and the outer at every oil change. Now, in between oil changes, every week I take the outer and I clean it out, usually just by beating it against a post or blowing it with the blower, and put it back on there. And you'll see they can get very dirty in just 1 week. But today, we're gonna change both of them. And it's very easy. You remove the cap, you pull both the outer and the inner out and replace them with the new ones, put the cap back on, and just like that, your maintenance with this mower is done. And just like that, she is now running like a top. Always a good idea to make sure everything works after you do all this kind of maintenance. That way you know you didn't cause a problem. And the next important thing about doing maintenance is not just doing it, but writing it down. That way you know you did it. That way you can plan for the next time you do maintenance. And for me, I'm so busy as a solo operator, I actually use my Jobber app to make me reminders when to do maintenance on my mower like it's a normal job. So I will plan accordingly. Like, I know about 3 to 4 weeks from now, it's gonna be time to do an oil change and all this stuff again. So I just go into my Jobber app and schedule it like it's a job, like I'm mowing a yard. Instead, I'm doing maintenance on my equipment, because that's how important it is. Doing maintenance on your equipment is just as important as any job you do with the equipment. What about non-routine maintenance? And we do have some of that as well. Like, my mower was at the dealership yesterday doing some non-routine maintenance. Actually took it in because I'm having an issue with the deck. It's a problem I've talked about before, but I've had some deck issues as far as when it comes to where my spindles mount. So when I first got the mower, I was doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing with it, and I found a cinder block in this giant field. Well, that cinder block, it did a number on my deck. So this spindle right here and the middle spindle, it bent the mounting area, meaning the blade is not rolling on a flat plane. So whenever you spin tip to tip, the blades don't line up, and it makes it cut like it's got a bent blade. But the blade's not bent. The deck has a little bit of a tweak to it. Not a huge deal. Like, I mowed my yard this week and you can't see it. And most of the time, you cannot see it. You won't be able to see it. I see it because I see it so much that I start to notice a pattern. It wasn't that bad, but we are in the heavy growing season and we're mowing a lot. So I decided I have a little bit of downtime. Let's take it in, let them tweak it, and let them check it out. And I'm glad I did, because when I was there, they reminded me that I had another non-routine maintenance, which was to have the valves checked and adjusted on my motor, which was a little overdue. And while they were bending the deck, they went ahead and checked some things out for me. And I'm glad they did, because my mower is under warranty, and they found that not one, not two, but all 3 of my spindles are actually bad. So they're getting fixed for free next week, all under warranty. And the reason that came about is because we were talking about maintenance. I was telling them, you know, I find that I have to grease the front casters, the back push arms, and the spindles way more than the manual calls for. The manual calls for every 40 hours on the spindles. And I told them, I actually grease them every morning, and every morning it takes 10 to 15 pumps of grease before I see it come out the relief. And he said, man, that seems like a lot of grease. We'll take a look at them while they're here. Well, they took a look at them. Turns out this one right here is 100% shot. There's no questions about it. That one is done. These two will be done in the next 2 or 3 weeks. That's how bad they are. And so I have the mower back because they didn't have all 3 spindles, and I need it to mow. Obviously, we're hoping to mow today, tomorrow, and Friday. And then Friday afternoon, we'll drop it back off. They'll replace all 3 spindles, and we'll be good to go for next week. But that's why it's important to do maintenance and to talk to people about maintenance, because otherwise, I never would have thought there was a problem with my spindles. They weren't making a noise. They weren't doing anything to cause for me to think there was something bad, other than the fact that I thought they were taking more grease than they should be taking, especially considering that I grease them every single morning. Now, what else do I do every single morning? I change blades. And since we're out doing the maintenance and we're getting ready to go mow, we're gonna put a fresh set of blades on this mower right here. All right, we're getting ready to change blades, and I think Skag is one of the easiest mowers to change blades on. You do have to jack it up though. So if I'm in the field, I carry a jack with me and I jack the front end up and do the work there. Or if I'm at home, I just drive it up on the edge of my garage, and that gives me enough space underneath the mower to get the spindle nut out. Now, not all mowers are the same, but they are all the same in the fact that you have to get the front end up to get it off. For a Skag, it's very easy. So we take an impact gun and we put it on the top of the spindle nut. As soon as the nut comes off, the spindle bolt and the blade falls out the bottom. You take that setup, you remove the spacer and the blade, put a new blade on, put the spacer back on, take that assembly and slide it back up into the spindle from the bottom side, put the nut back on top, hand tighten it, and then you hit it with the impact gun, and voila, you have your blade changed. Repeat that 2 more times and you're good to go for the day. Now, not all mowers are this easy. Most mowers require you to be underneath, so you have to still jack the mower up just as high, but you're trying to use the impact gun from the bottom side. That's why I love the Skag. I can use the impact gun on the top side, and there is actually no tools needed on the bottom side, unless of course your spindle bolts and nuts are getting wore out, and then of course it's time to change it if you're having to use 2 wrenches to get the nut and the bolt apart. And there we have it. There are my blades. And I will say, maybe I have a problem with blades, and as you can see, these are all my spare blades. And I'm a solo operator, and I counted the other day, I have 37 blades. I know that divided by 3 doesn't work out, but that's because some get bent from time to time. But overall, I have 37 blades. And right now, they're all sharpened, ready to go in the machine. These are my Ballards, these are my Copperheads, and these are my Oregons. And I just choose 3, and I go to work. And it's a big deal to have very sharp blades, because it saves you so much time and only having to do 1 pass, especially right now in the dreaded Bahia season. But I'll show you the difference after 1 day of work. These blades have about 10 acres on them. This was 1 day of mowing. They're not actually that bad, but by the end of the day, you have to start going slow or making double passes, because as you can see, there hardly is no edge on that. And I know some people say you don't need sharp blades. Well, if you cut in the South, and you know what I'm talking about, you most certainly need sharp blades at all times, because this right here would double my mowing time for the next day, or today if I decide to leave them on to go mow today. And this is what sharp blades look like. We're not making them razor sharp. We're just giving them a nice sharp edge, making sure we get the corner as sharp as we can. I know most of the time there is no corner anymore, because that's the first thing that wears off. But you try to get it as sharp as you can, and boy, does it make a difference in your cutting performance. Especially this time of year, when usually the only thing you're trying to race is the sun going down, because you have so much work to do. Sharp blades, the biggest game changer in my business so far, is just making sure I have the right blades on every single day for the best performance of my mower. And since we already have the mower out, we might as well grease it before we put it back on the trailer. And a Skag is actually very easy. We go ahead and hit every grease point. It takes like an extra 5 to 6 minutes to grease everything. We make sure that we grease the front casters, the spindles, and the push arms very well, because those seem to take more grease than the rest. And then when we're done, before we put it on the trailer, we go ahead and fill it up. That way, when we unload it at our first job, we are ready to go. There's nothing else to do to this mower. And there you have it. Everything has been maintained, filled up, and it's ready to go back on the trailer, ready to work. Now, I do a little bit more maintenance to my handhelds, and that usually involves checking the air filters, checking the fuel filters, which they just got replaced, so those are good. The air filters also just got replaced, but we are going to take them all off and take a look at them, especially the pieces of equipment that we used almost every day. And there's a new thing that I just started doing because I honestly did not realize it was a thing that you needed to do, and that is this right here, this Red Armor equipment lube. It's basically lubrication for all the gearboxes on your handhelds. So like your trimmer, your edger, your hedge trimmers, all of them have a gearbox right here, and they take this special, well, it's lithium gear case grease, but they make it for Echo and Stihl. It's all the same stuff. Just remove the cap like this right here. You take that off, squirt this in there, put the cap back on. Keeps everything running nice and smooth. I'll go ahead and do that today to all of my handhelds, including my hedge trimmers. I will fill everything up, that way it's good to go. And then we should be set up for success for the rest of the week. Now, if you're anything like me, you actually do not like maintenance. Maintenance is one of the things that I hate doing because it's a job I have to do that generates no income for me. So to me, it's a job that costs me money. And that is true. Everything I did today cost me some money in components and supplies to make sure that our equipment is up and running, ready to go. That being said, you can do all the maintenance in the world and you're still going to have problems. Like, for example, I maintain my deck every single day, yet I still have 3 spindles that have gone bad. The good news is, because I maintain my deck every single day, they're being replaced for free under warranty. Doing maintenance doesn't keep problems from happening. It just makes it, when problems do happen, hopefully they're a little less costly than if you did nothing at all. Now, I know there's guys out there who do absolutely no maintenance at all and never have a problem out of the machine. I am not that lucky. If I were to go 1 hour over the oil change, this thing would probably blow up and never run again, and I'd have to buy a new mower. So that's why I always, no matter how tired I am, no matter how much I don't want to do it, you can't afford not to do maintenance on your equipment. All right, now that everything in the trailer is ready to go for us to make work, we need to make sure we take care of the most important piece of equipment. And that is you, the guy who runs all that stuff, because you can't run that stuff if you don't take care of yourself. Which is why today we are going to take a me day. That's right, me and my wife are going to have full body massages and manicures and pedicures because, well, you can't mow yards if you don't feel good. You actually can't do anything in life if you don't feel good. So remember, no matter how much you don't want to do maintenance, it's one of the most important things you can do for your business and for yourself. If you take care of the things that take care of you, you'll always be good to go. Anyway, guys, I hope this helps you out. I hope you remembered to do some maintenance, take care of yourself and your equipment, because without them, you can't do what you do. Thanks for watching. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.